Open your cerebral cortex and shift your lobes into upper beta phase, because you are going to have Bitcoin knowledge transmitted directly into your vestibulocochlear. Your host at Bitcoin Knowledge is Trace Mayer, an early Bitcoin advocate since it cost $0.25, but this is not intended to be investment advice. A doctor of jurisprudence, but this is definitely not legal advice. And an investor in core cryptocurrency infrastructure, including Armory, BitPay, Kraken, and Mitagio, but this is not a recommendation of those services. Here, you get fed via direct mind download with pure and free Bitcoin knowledge.
Welcome back to the Bitcoin Knowledge Podcast. This is an urgent update. We have with us the CEO of Kraken, the largest Euro Bitcoin exchange, Jesse Powell. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Trace. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, so we've just seen some insane activity. The Grexit happened. Greece is, playing chicken with Germany. The Chinese stock markets imploded. The Securities Commission over there in China has made it illegal to sell shares. And now Bitcoin is just gone insane. We've had over 85,000 Bitcoins traded in the last 24 hours on Bitfinex. Kraken's over 10,000. Even the Kraken Litecoin pair is over about 1,700 Bitcoins. Like, what is going on?
I don't know. Hard to say. I think this is probably all set off by just, the Chinese stock market issues today, and just compounded by the stuff that's been happening in Europe. I would just say it's probably just lost confidence broadly in the global financial system as it exists today.
Now, one thing I find really interesting is back before the big price rise in March of 2013, I had actually been on TV with Jeremy Paxman on BBC Newsnight, and it was all about Cyprus. And now it's Cyprus's neighbor, Greece. But back then, the charts were all set up just perfect to have a massive run. I'd actually written an article about it about a month earlier, how the 200-day moving average was low. The current price had just barely breached it. I like the 200-day moving average because it filters out all this daily noise. We've had an 18-month just massive bear market. It's been pretty lean times in the Bitcoin niche. Do you think it might be turning around for a bear market? I mean, what's the sentiment? Do we see the tools built out in the ecosystem? Do we see the ability to bring on massive amounts of volume? Because when Gil Luria, he put out his report, put a $400 price target on Bitcoin. Can we see institutional money come in, or do they just have to keep playing around the edges like Goldman Sachs with their Circle investment?
I think so. I think that you see more and more Bitcoin companies getting licensed and forming more and more stable partnerships with their banks. And I think that we do have the infrastructure in place today, that didn't exist 2 years ago, to absorb a huge influx of cash. So I think that, we could see the price rise quite substantially from here. However, I would just caution people that the last time we saw a major spike in the price, it, of course, was followed by a major drop in the price.
Well, that makes everything kind of fun, right? Everyone loves to chase the rabbit. We've seen that with Litecoin, gone from $1 about 6 months ago to over $8.50 just in the last 6 months. $50 million of volume traded in the last 24 hours. I mean, it's just really kind of unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, insane. I think the Litecoin stuff has to do kind of with the Litecoin not being vulnerable to the same sort of spam attacks that Bitcoin is. However, I think that's easily resolved within Bitcoin. So there may be some hype around that. But it's hard to say what's really driving the Litecoin price.
Yeah, because I was talking with Rodolfo Novak. He's CEO of CoinKite yesterday, just on Skype, and I was asking him because he's just getting pounded because of the spam attack, because he's a merchant processor. Have you seen any issues at Kraken, or is it just kind of business as usual? You just increase the fees a little bit. How's it impacting the actual usage of Bitcoin?
Yeah, they're definitely, once your funds are on Kraken, then we're doing everything off the blockchain within Kraken. So it doesn't affect you then. But for sure, the latency in funding and withdrawing has impacted the service. But like you said, we're paying a fee on every outbound transfer. And if people are paying fees on the way in, then they're probably not going to be very much affected by it.
Now, I've noticed that there are a lot more tier 4 verified customers at Kraken. Are you seeing just a lot more people coming in trying to get their limits raised, trying to be able to buy more Bitcoin? I guess I ask this because the Bloomberg interview with Bill Miller, he's a massive mutual fund king, and in the last 2 minutes of this 12-minute interview, he was asked about Bitcoin, and he said, I think it's a buy right now. I'm actually working with the exchanges to increase my limits. Are you seeing that happen? So, a lot of people have been poking around Bitcoin for years now, but they haven't necessarily bought in large stakes in it yet. They've just been experimenting. What are you seeing, as someone boots on the ground interfacing with the very most critical part of the Bitcoin infrastructure?
Yeah, absolutely. We are getting a lot of requests to upgrade accounts to higher limits in the last day or so. I think this just goes to show that you are better off just doing this kind of thing ahead of time rather than being lumped in the queue, with 10,000 other people who are also trying to upgrade their accounts at the same time. So you want to be prepared for this kind of opportunity. You never know when it's going to happen. And, so I would just encourage people in the future to do this ahead of time. We're, of course, piling on more support agents, calling in people that are on their days off to come and help get through the queue with these upgrade requests. But we're doing pretty well with it so far. It's still very quick for people to get upgraded.
So, like Greece, for example, are you seeing more signups from the Eurozone, from Greece specifically, or some of these other countries that might have issues like Italy or Spain or Portugal or France?
Not actually. Surprisingly, not so much from these countries in particular. The signups are pretty broadly across Europe. I feel like the people that are in these situations in these countries, I think there's this sort of mentality that that's never going to happen here, and people tend to wait until it's too late. Unless it's happened to them before, unless you're in a place like Argentina where you've just seen it happen so many times that you expect it. If it hasn't happened to you, I think people just tend to wait until it's too late. And that's what we saw in Greece. That by the time people wanted to buy Bitcoin, their bank accounts were frozen.
Yeah, or China, where people wanted to sell their stock and now it's illegal to sell their stock. That's
right.
Really kind of just insane. I think it takes the government intervention to a whole new level.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if anyone saw that coming. I didn't even, I wouldn't even suspected that was even a possibility. That's just insanity, right?
Hotel China, right? You can check in, but you can't check out.
Yeah.
What about, you mentioned the queue. I remember, the big Cyprus bubble, the 2013 bubble at the end of the year with U.S. Senate hearings. At sometimes, I think Mt. Gox's queue was 10 or 20, 30,000 people waiting to get verified. Where are we at with Kraken and the Mt. Gox issue?
So we, the Japanese bankruptcy trustee has given until July 29th. So they've extended the original deadline to file. So people now have until July 29th to file online. If you have yet to file, please do go to claims.mtgox.com or come to kraken.com, and you can file your claim in either of those places. If you do file through Kraken, you'll get, I think we're still giving away $1 million in free trades. So you'll be awarded that immediately for linking up your Gox claim, and that'll survive past the payouts. So people still have some more time. It seems like a lot of people actually didn't realize that the claims have been ongoing and that there was this deadline. So there's actually been a rush lately of new people to register to file their claims.
And what happens if someone fails to file their claim?
So if they fail, their claim just goes back to the pool, essentially. So it'll be divided among all the other creditors.
Oh, so early bird gets the worm, it sounds like. If you don't file, then it just gets split up pro rata with everybody who did file.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think there'll be a lot of people that maybe they had $100 on their account and they're only expecting to get back $20, and it's just not worth the effort of filing. So I think there'll be a lot of those, but so far the claims have actually exceeded the what was expected to be claimed, but we haven't figured out yet if that was just some trolls or some people made some typos or they forgot to put a decimal point in there. It could be anything.
Whoops. Get back 100 Bitcoins instead of 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What are we seeing at Kraken? Where's the development coming? You've recently released margin trading. What types of cool features are out there for people to really take advantage of this next impending bull market that seems to be coming? We've had 18 months of winter. It's time for spring and summer. How can we take advantage of it at Kraken?
Yeah, so if you're in the Eurozone, we've got extremely fast funding, usually same-day funding on the Euro. We've also recently launched Canada. Japan's out there. We have Japanese yen accounts domestically in Japan. The US dollar is also available, but thinly traded right now on Kraken. You can, like you said, we have recently launched margin trading. That's been a huge success. We recently launched the dark pool. So if you want to trade bigger blocks, that is a great way to do it. And we've had a lot of success with that so far. And we've also got credit lines that are available to certain market makers if people would like to get into the business of market making for us.
And I heard there was a cross-order bot now that's helping establish liquidity through all the different pairs that are on the exchange. Maybe you can go a little bit into that, since Litecoin's just gone to the moon and back.
Yeah, actually, we've been testing that out lately. It's not actually operational today, so all of that Litecoin volume is completely the market. We've had nothing to do with that. So the cross-book liquidity bot is essentially going to be arbing the pairs, like essentially doing triangulation between the pairs to bring liquidity to the more thinly traded books.
Well, that's awesome, and then we can have more coins or whatever that just gives more liquidity. We're seeing Shapeshift get a lot of uptake, so I think that these altcoin markets, there's people love to just speculate on everything. There any closing thoughts? Sure. I know I've got to run, you've got to run. Thanks so much for taking the time just to jump on. I know the sound quality might not be the best for our listeners, but having this urgent update is great. Is there anything you want to leave everybody with?
Just keep trading. Hold,
hodl, or whatever it is, right? Well, great. Thanks so much for being with us, Jesse.
All right. Thanks, Trace. Have a good one.
Yep. So we've had Jesse Powell, CEO of Kraken, the largest Euro Bitcoin exchange, giving us an urgent update on the situation with Greece exiting, China freezing sales of stock, and just the crazy liquidity that we've seen in Bitcoin and Litecoin today. Thanks, Jesse. Bye.
Be sure to get a copy of the free Bitcoin Guide at freebitcoinguide.com. Got a question or suggestion? Record your voice at bitcoin.kn. Don't be shy. To help the show, share bitcoin.kn with friends, post about it on Reddit, and otherwise spam the interwebs. Your iTunes comments and 5-star reviews are very important to us. Please continue tuning in to the Bitcoin Knowledge Podcast, where we release interviews with the top people in the Bitcoin world. Now take some choline and let that Bitcoin knowledge consolidate.